Okay, we're going to analyze this political cartoon that is called Braving the Storm. This political cartoon came out in the magazine Vanity Fair, December of 1860. And if you look at the left of the screen here, you can see that there's some background information. So while we're going through this slide, make sure that you look at this background information so that you know exactly what was going on and what was happening when this cartoon was written. But we're going to look at the different aspects of this cartoon. So first thing we're going to do is look at it as a whole. So obviously we see that there's a man in a boat and he's in the middle of a storm. So we're trying to figure out, remember, with the political cartoon, we got to see who the people represent, what the different parts of the cartoon represent for a real life event. So let's start by looking at the man. Anybody want to guess who that guy is? He's the governor of Texas, but in 1860. But before that, he was the very first president of Texas. So obviously, it's Sam Houston. So we've got Sam Houston in a boat, and if you notice, the name of this boat that he's in is the Constitution. Now he's in the middle of the ocean. He's facing a storm, and if you look at the bottom of the picture, it's got a quote from Sam Houston's letter that he wrote that says, "I regard or love the Constitution of my country, and I'm determined to stand by it." Now, don't forget, in 1860, Texas was already part of the United States. So when he's talking about his country, he's talking about the USA. So here's what's going on. Sam Houston was governor of Texas in 1860 when Abraham Lincoln gets elected and South Carolina secedes from the Union. Now, 6 other states start to also follow South Carolina and they secede as well. So Texas has a lot in common with the other southern states. Texas allows slavery. Texas is a slave state. So when all of the states in the South start to secede, Texas has to decide whether they're going to secede or not. So there is a convention held. That's a group of people. So the lawmakers of Texas get together so they can have a vote to decide whether Texas should secede with the other southern states or they should stay in the USA. Now, here's where the cartoon comes in. Here's the thing. Sam Houston says, "I love the Constitution of my country." Sam Houston did not want to secede. His feeling was Texas had just joined the United States. It was important for Texas to be part of the United States, and Sam Houston did not believe enough in the idea of slavery to leave the United States over it. That doesn't mean that he loved slavery. It also doesn't mean that he was against slavery. He just felt like leaving the United States was not a good idea for Texas. So he campaigned really hard. He tried to convince everybody not to vote yes for secession. He said, "No, we do not need to secede. We need to stay in." Unfortunately for Houston, the majority of the people in Texas did not feel the same way that he felt. And so the lawmakers, when they got together to vote, the majority of the lawmakers decided to secede. And so they agreed that Texas would leave the United States. And when they officially seceded from the USA and joined the Confederate States of America, Houston refused to take the oath of loyalty. So like we say, our pledge of allegiance to our flag, that means that we're going to do whatever we need to do to be a good citizen of our country. And Sam Houston refused to do that loyalty oath for the Confederate States of America. And so he was actually forced to resign. He was forced to step down and give up his job as governor of Texas because he refused to do that. So when you're looking at this picture, at this cartoon, most of the things that I want you to understand is that it's Houston in the boat. He is in the boat called the Constitution because that's his argument. His argument is, "I love the Constitution of the United States and I refuse to break with the Constitution by leaving the USA," because Sam Houston believed that we had signed a contract with the USA agreeing to stay and be part of the country forever. The storm that's surrounding him is obviously the Civil War that's coming. So the storm that's surrounding Sam Houston in the cartoon represents the Civil War. And the tattered sail in the background and the fact that the waves are coming into the boat represent the fact that even though Sam Houston didn't agree with secession, his state, Texas, went ahead and went against what he wanted and seceded from the USA and left the United States. So if you look at this cartoon in its entirety and you read the background information, that will help you answer the questions on this slide.